So for my second part of my presentation, I'd like to present a highlight that I learned from each teacher in their grade. And then up on my presentation has the units of study that they study in each grade and science field trips that they get to take. She has an apple carrier that the students are to create. They're given a set material list, they're put in groups, and they have to design an apple carrier that can carry a load from one side of the classroom to the other. But what was really great in talking with Mrs. Shoemake was learning about her groupings. She spends a lot of time observing the students and finding out what students are more outgoing and what students are more reserved and what students are her talkative ones and what students are more shy, and she groups them according to that. And then it allows the students to take on new roles that they don't normally take. Her students that are able to give ideas now have to be able to listen and take others' ideas. Her students who usually follow the ideas that are given now have to come up with the ideas. And from that, after they're in their groups and they have these discussions, they build, they test, they have discussions, they go back and they retest. And it was really great to hear Mrs. Shoemake talk about students who usually, are not the ones that present themselves and were up there having successes in their design challenges. In talking with Mrs. Watts in first grade, it was great for her to tell me how she uses hands-on demonstrations to teach science concepts. So she has a great unit on waves, on light waves and sound waves, and she's created hands-on experiences to really showcase this to the first graders. One of her hands-on explorations that she has for the students is they make kazoos. They make kazoos out of tinfoil and out of wax paper, and they have to differentiate the different sounds that they're able to hear. I skipped a little bit ahead. Before she does these hands-on explorations, they read books about how our ears work, they read books about how sound travels, about what sound is, and then she does these hands-on explorations with them. After they made the kazoos, another exploration that she set up for them was to make telephones and to see how far they could get sound to travel across their classroom. She had another exploration for them with tuning forks, where they struck the tuning forks and stuck it in water and were able to see the vibrations of sound. She had homework that the kids had to go home and explain to the parents how the kazoo worked, how the telephone worked, how a tuning fork worked, and come back the next day and share what types of questions the parents had. And then she connected this all back to how our own eyes and ears work and how we take in sound and light to make it just very apparent for her little 6-year-olds. So in second grade, talking with Mrs. Fletcher and Mrs. Ryan, I wanted to highlight a program that we have in 2nd through 5th grade called Seeds of Science, Roots of Literature. And it's a program that connects literacy with science. So it uses trade books. For those of you that aren't familiar with trade books are short picture books that speak about one science concept. So you might have a trade book on the types of clouds there are. You might have a trade book on erosion. And in 2nd grade, they have a Seeds of Science unit called Shoreline Science. They look at sand composition, they look at erosion, they look at weathering, and they read these trade books, and then they're asked to build models to demonstrate what it is that they're reading about. So one of the models that they were asked to build was, they had a jar with a bunch of different materials that they had to explain the process of erosion. And they had to be able to show what's going on in their jar and explain how that models what happens in our Earth's process of erosion.